what we did in 2024 was really take what we did back in '08 and enhance even further. We fixed any remaining drainage issues. We rebuilt the greens simply because they were actually due to be rebuilt anyway. We replaced any old bulkhead walls that were starting to fail that weren't done in 2008. We added more elevation in spots. We added more contour in spots where we could. In my opinion, I think we pretty well optimized this golf course where you really couldn't do much more. You've elevated about as much as you can, given you have to tie back down to property lines and down to lake levels, things like that. So it was really an opportunity to really finish this property about as well as anybody could. So, we really appreciate the opportunity to be able to come back here and really put a finished signature on this property. Well, the way we wanted to enhance the playability was, really try to make things a little bit bigger. We did a survey with the membership before we did the project, and we asked them, what are the things that you like and what are the things you not like about the East Golf Course, or if you could change something, what it would be. And most of the members liked the East Golf Course already, but they had a few things here and a few things there, like we're missing a tee between tees, there's a carry distance that's too far, there's too much yardage between tees, or the approach to 18 is a little bit narrow. And those are things we didn't do in '08, that we went back and took the opportunity to modify lake shorelines, making things bigger, addressing the things that we got from the membership, the things that illed them or they would like to see improved, while still maintaining all the good things on the golf course that already existed. So really that was the focus of the work, was really in taking those things that the membership desired, giving them back without changing all the other good characters of the golf course. We didn't incur any surprises, only because I knew this golf course already. We pretty much knew what was out here. We knew where all the extra dirt was in the bottom of the lakes. We had to de-water some lakes and find the rest of it, if you will. We did that to most lakes. We do what's called de-water, and we went down and actually dredged them out even deeper to utilize that fill for the golf course property. But from a surprise standpoint, there really wasn't anything, because again, we knew this property already. Unlike some other people who might come in here for the first time in a Hunter's Run and try to figure it out, we already knew what we did in '08. We already knew what we didn't do in '08 and how to enhance that. So from the technical standpoint, there really weren't any surprises that we weren't aware of. Well, you typically replace if you're looking at why do we replace irrigation systems, irrigation systems down here in Florida, when you have a PVC system, they typically last about 20, 25, 27 years. And your golf course being done in '08 was basically 16 years old. So you're going to go through some what we call major surgery when you do a renovation, and you looked, it's like, we don't want to do this again for another 25 years. How do we avoid that? Well, your irrigation system maybe has 7 to 9 years of life left in it. So let's go ahead and just tackle that now and be done with it, so that you're really not doing anything on the East Golf Course for, until maybe the 2045 to 2050 range. So we went ahead and replaced it with a new HDPE system, which is kind of a new technology as far as piping goes. HDPE pipes last at least twice as long as PVC pipes. And they're actually cheaper. So a cheaper product to replace an older system that now gives you a longer lifespan just made all the sense to do it now and not wait till later. Why irrigation is important is, it is the lifeblood of your golf course. It's like the blood in your body. You can't survive without it. If you don't have water, you won't have green grass. It'll all be brown, it'll all be weeds. So, water is the most important element to success of any golf course. And getting adequate coverage and making sure you don't have brown spots or thin spots or areas that are watered too much or watered too little. You can get either wet spots where you have a lot of drainage problems or dry spots where you have brown turf. So irrigation is arguably the most important component of any golf course product, even more important than green surfaces or tees or bunkers. So having a good, efficient irrigation system is the success of your golf course. It's funny when you're doing a golf course project, things tend to evolve and you start to see things you may not have seen even on a plan. While we knew that Old Hole 9, which is right here behind us, was going to be greatly enhanced, backdrop behind the green, cleaning up the lake banks along the acreage, putting bulkhead walls in, visually it was going to be really enhanced. We didn't know it was going to turn out to this, doing all that work would be a great picture frame behind the hole itself. and you're having a much better backdrop with the framing, the stadium effect, you will, something like that. So 9 kind of evolved to the point where we started looking at it, and you know, the club officials started looking at it saying, gosh, that should just be 18. The way it's set up just makes sense for it to be 18. You know, nothing wrong with the existing 18th hole other than it was in a very tight corridor between the pump station and hole number 1. It could only be improved so much, but the old hole 9 could be made huge, big backdrops, big framing, great eye appeal, as we call eye candy, if you will, and a sense of arrival when you come in Summit Drive and turn into Clubhouse Lane. It's that first real picture you get after you come in through the front entryway, and it's like, that should be the finishing hole, that should be 18. As far as landscaping enhancements and environment, we kept any tree that we had an arborist come out, and they basically did an evaluation of almost every tree on the golf course. And any tree that was deemed to be unhealthy or in poor health was removed in favor of planting something new that was a healthy tree that could last, 25, 30, 35, 40 years. A lot of the landscaping, I'll probably say 50% of the landscaping that we have on the golf course is still here. We worked around the areas that were in good shape, that still had a lot of life left in them. And obviously anywhere we did significant changes in grading and shaping and elevation, we put all new landscaping in, and that again, that would prolong the life of what's here. I've been doing golf course renovations, redesigns, restorations in South Florida for 20 years now, and we've really got a good sense of what members are looking for, what they care about. Playability is important, but not losing challenge is also important. Making sure there's a healthy balance between the good players and the lesser players, and making sure they all have a great experience playing the same 18 holes, and balancing that. We're very careful on, trying to eliminate or reduce forced carries where it has no bearing on good players, but yet it can be really difficult for some of the higher handicappers. Making sure there's a playable way around challenges on the golf course to make sure that the lesser players are enjoying it as much as the good players are. I can make the golf course as hard as anybody wants for the good players. My goal is also to make it playable for everybody. And that's why when we do a project like we did here on the East Golf Course, we do start these things with focus group sessions where we sit down with 4 different skill sets of the membership and try to draw information out of them about, again, what they like and what they don't like about it, so that I can adequately represent a plan for all skill sets and address the things that the best players want, and then also address the things that are important to the high handicappers, so that 118 holes can fit all skill sets. And, so we look at things from that perspective. We also look at maintenance as a really important aspect. That we've got a bunker design. It's the same bunker design that I did here in 08. We did it again in 2024, where the bunkers are very visual. You see a really strong flash, but if you look carefully the way they're designed, they don't wash out. We're very careful how we shape bunkers to minimize maintenance, because we don't want your maintenance staff every day in the summertime when it pours down rain to be pulling bunker sand up on faces every morning. We want to be doing more important tasks about maintaining the grass and making the greens perfect and the bunker sand perfect and getting everything maintained well, not being focused on the daily things of always dealing with washouts, something like that. So we have a very unique bunker style that we developed about 20 years ago that we carry through most of our projects in South Florida, because it is fairly washout resistant, thus making, optimizing the use of maintenance and not having spent a lot of time on miscellaneous redundant things, if you will. Given the East Golf Course is short in distance, I mean, we've maxed it out as far as we can from the back tees, but it's always going to be your short, small golf course. There are some unique things in your greens with 2-tier effects, a little more contour in spots than you might see on a golf course that's 7,200 yards. That's there to maintain some challenge and some strategy to a shorter golf course where, a more precise approach shot is required. You may get on a green, I'm looking at number 11 right behind here, where if you get stuck on the lower level or even on 18, you have a challenging putt to an upper level. We're requiring a more accurate shot because we're trying to maintain some challenge and difficulty into a golf course that may only be 6,500 yards from the tips. So again, you know, we look at maintaining playability for higher handicappers, but adding some of that character in the green shaping, maybe some of the fairway shaping, still adds some challenge to some of the better players as well. For many years, I'll say even decades, a grass called Bermuda 419 was the standard that every golf course used out here in South Florida. Right about the time we did the East Golf Course back in '08, a new turf was starting to take over called Celebration, but it was still kind of new at the time. You went with 419 back in '08 because you didn't have a proven alternative yet, okay? Celebration kind of took hold around '07, '08, '09, and kind of became the standard for golf course turfs for 12, 13, 14 years. And so when the opportunity came again to switch grasses, Celebration was then the grass of choice. It's a much more aggressive turf. It recovers faster, it grows faster, thus it repairs divots faster. It's kind of a technological hybrid, if you will, that just recovers quicker. And Amy made the sense, let's go ahead and change out to this new grass to give us a faster recovery and a better turf quality. So that's kind of what we've done, because we were going to replace irrigation anyway, we were going to fix drainage anyway, we're rebuilding all the features anyway, so you were going to take what we call the skin off the golf course, or the grass off the golf course. Let's go ahead and put the better version back on when we had to put something back. My final opinion on what was done here on the East Golf Course, again, I greatly appreciate the opportunity to be able to come back and finish the job we started, 15 years ago. I feel very confident there's very little, if anything else, you can do to this golf course to make it any better. I mean, could you add a little more landscaping? I mean, but there's really nothing left that you could do, in my opinion, as a golf course designer, that could make this substantially better. In my opinion, we have optimized this East Course property to be the best golf course that can be on it. Not only from an elevation standpoint, from a contour standpoint, from a playability standpoint. I just don't see you may get another architect to tell you something different. From my perspective, having done 50 golf courses in Florida, this is about as optimized as you can get on this property. And I feel really good that we've given your membership the best possible golf course that we can. I know I've heard rumors that this is their favorite of the three. I challenge Bo Welling to do that on the South Golf Course. I know he's going to do that in a year or two. But good luck, Bo. You got a lot of work to do to match what I've done here in the East Golf Course.